Good morning, class. Today we're going to do a video for our beginning of our lesson, and we're going to do another day of working with shapes and trying to make our quilt square. Now, some of you yesterday did a really nice job of gluing on your squares. Some of them, I'm not going to show names, were very intentional about what they did. This looks like a snowman. That's pretty interesting. Some people did a nice job of stacking. Here's some cool stacking. Notice how they matched up their shapes on top of each other. Had it in a pattern in a circle. Did very clean gluing. Another one that I really liked because it was interesting. I could see something. I could see an animal. They used their shapes. Or another cool one. It's very simple, this one is, but they match the colors. You can tell this person is really thinking about how they wanted their square to look. Now, some of us, and those are just a few examples, some of us did not do quite as good of a job, which is why I wanted to have one more day to try to get our absolute best quilt square. Because if you're going to have this quilt of all your pieces hanging in the hallway, I want it to be beautiful. So here's one that was a little bit not a clean glue job. The shapes are just everywhere. It doesn't really look like it's making anything. This was not very well thought out. Another one that just seems kind of like it was glued on top of each other, not super thought out. Another one I feel like could have been thought out a little bit more than just all glued out. Maybe trying to line up the shapes so that they match up. So I'm going to show you another one, and we're going to have a little bit more direction today. Instead of just making a pattern like we did last time, you could do anything, I want you to make something like we did that first day with the blocks, the bigger blocks. So I want you to either make a flower in whatever way you want to. A lot of quilts, as you saw, like the ones I brought, have flowers, so I want you to either make a flower, could be an odd flower, oh, I have a very odd flower. It doesn't have to be perfect, but notice how my edges are lining up. I'm not putting them way over here like this, that, or the other thing. I'm being very intentional about lining up my edges. Maybe I'll move this down. And thinking before I glue. So I'm going to line the whole thing up before I glue anything. I'm going to work with the shapes I have. We're running low on shapes, so we're just going to work with it. I'm making sure I've got a very cool design before I glue. Ooh, I like this flower. Let's see if I can find another. I don't have another yellow square, so I'm going to do 2 reds instead. It's okay to switch them out. If that doesn't work, I can always switch it. Alright, and then maybe this will be the stem. I want you to do either a flower, like mine, a sun, flower, sun, a kind of home, like we did that first time if you want to do a castle wall. Remember, line up those edges, you could do something like that. Or a home for an animal. Always lining up our edges very nicely. A sun or an animal. So flower, sun, home, or animal. Those are the things we're doing today. Animals, this could also be an animal that I've done right here. It looks kind of like a snake. Ooh, snakes would be very cool to do. Ooh. And I could even get my little scissors and cut a little tip off of this triangle. I don't have my scissors with me today, but here we go. You guys will have scissors. That's cool, snake. I could even put my tongue underneath here because I haven't glued yet, so I can do that. I like this. I want to go with the snake, I think. I practiced a few of them, so I'm going to take my glue bottle here, and I'm going to dot, dot, not a lot it. I'm going to start with one piece, being very careful so I don't bump it. 1 dot. See, not a bunch. Might have been even a little much. 2 dots. I'm going to glue it down. very nicely. Ooh, so you can tell it's a little bit too much. It kind of squished out a little bit. So I'm not going to squish it too much. I'm going to let it be gentle. And then I'll move on to my next piece. This one probably only needs one dot because it's a small one. I'm going to gently put it down. Alright, I want you to get started on yours. Remember, but when you're done, make sure to write your name on the back, and I want to see if we can do some even better quilt squares today. Alright, let's get started.